Hi, you're welcome to my math friend. This lesson is on the seventh, all right, limit that's involving infinity. Good, limits involving infinity. These are the rules over here. Good, that'll guide us very well. Now you are to evaluate limit of 3x squared minus 2 or out of 3x cubed plus 1 as x approaches infinity. Approaching infinity means that as x, the value of x gets bigger and bigger. Good. So no limit. So what happens over here? Good. Now in this case, you look at the highest power of x. What's the highest power of x here? It's 2. All right. And what's the highest power of x here? It's 3. Right. So in this case, what happens is that you divide both the numerators and the denominators by the highest power of x. Highest power of x is 3. It's 3 over here. Good. So it's going to be a divide both sides by x to the power 3. So you have 3x squared, this 3x squared term over this x cubed, because that is the highest power of x. Then minus 2 out of the same x to the power 3. You see that all over, you come down here, you have 3x cubed out of the same x cubed is the highest power plus 1 over x cubed. Good. Let's simplify. S cubed cancels s cubed. Right here, your s cubed go, you are left with 1 here. Good. Now, what happens to this one? Over here, you're going to have, what do you have left? You have 3 out of x. Okay, minus here, it comes 2 out of x cubed. All over, you're left with 3 down here, plus 1 over x cubed. Now, looking at the rules over here, all right, let's look at the second one. When you have limit of 1 out of x to the power n is equal to 0, the n, that is the index of the power, should be greater than 0. Good. So when you have 3 over x can be expanded as 3 times 1 over x. And 3 times 1 over x, okay, 1 over x is 0, so it's 3 times 0. Minus 2 out of x cubed is 2 times 1 over x cubed. And 1 over x cubed, the power here, 3 is positive. You get it? So we're going to have 2 times 0. 1 over x cubed will turn to 0, following this rule. Down here too, you have 3 plus 1 over x cubed. The power of x here, 3 is positive. N is positive. So you're going to have plus 0. So this gives us 3 times 0 is 0, minus 2 times 0 is 0. It's going to be 0 out of what? Out of 3. And 0 out of 3, once the numerator is 0, the answer is what? The answer is 0. Good, as you see there. So take note that anytime, for purposes of your objectives, anytime you find a limit involving infinity, okay, when the numerator, when the highest power of the numerator is less than the highest power of the denominator, here the highest power of the numerator is x squared, is 2. Come to the highest power of the denominator is 3. This 2, you see that is less than what? 3. The 2 power 2 here is less than the power 3. The limit will be what? Will be equal to 0 anytime. Objective sake, if you have such a question, limit straightforward is going to be 0. So that is why we had 0 here. This is to prove, in case you are doing a theory, you are answering it in your section B. Good. Now let's look at the second one. Quickly, you have limit of x plus 5 out of 4x as x approaches infinity. What happens to this one? Good. What's the highest power of x here? It's 1. Highest power of x here is what? It's 1. So in this case, what do we do? Again, we divide each term by the highest power, okay, of x. Highest power of x is 1, highest power of x is 1. So it will be x out of x plus this 5, each term out of x power 1. X power 1 is the highest term, all over, all right, 4x out of x. X cancels x, s cancels x. You are left with 1 over here, all right, plus 5 out of x is 5 times 1 out of x gives us 0, because 1 out of x, it will be 5 times this. 1 out of x is power 1. The power 1 here means n is greater than 0. It's positive. It's all this tends towards 0 from the rule here. So it's like 5 times 0. Okay, over here we're left with 4. X cancels x. Good. Now what happens over here? 1 plus 0 is what? Is 0. It's 1. All right. 1 plus 0 is 1 out of what? 4. And this is the answer. Good. So for purposes of section B or theory, you will solve it this way. Now, the same question for purposes of objectives, okay, we just need to provide answers in a time bound. What you do is that you check the powers. What's the highest power of the numerator here? X is 1. The highest power of the denominator, x, is also 1. So they are the same powers. So if they have the same powers, right, like that, what you do is that you just what? Divide their coefficient. The coefficient of the x power 1 here is 1. The coefficient of 4x x power 1 here is what? Is 4. So it's going to be this 1 out of what? This 4. And that is the answer. You see, they are the same. Very good. So take note of that. We can do this again, I said, for objectives. Just select the answers. But for theory or section B, you need to show workings, else you lose some marks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we mean by solving limits involving infinity. Follow me for more lessons on calculus, my dear WASSCE students. Leave your questions you have in the comment section and I'll definitely address it for you. Bye.